After 12 days of public sitting, the three-member committee tasked to investigate the Ejura disturbances has wrapped up its work. The committee set up following violence that led to the death of 2 and several injuries when soldiers clashed with the youth in Ejura who were protesting the gruesome murder of social media activist Ibrahim Mohammed, popularly known as Kaka Macho. Chairman of the committee, Justice George Kingsley Kumsin, has been speaking on the final day of its public sittings today.
We took 3 days to review the evidence obtained by way of audio and video evidence. So in all, we have spent 12 days of examining the evidence. In all, we called 22 witnesses, out of which 3 of them testified in camera for security reasons. 19 appeared in public. We have so far received audio evidence, only 1. Video footages tendered 117. Pictures in soft copy 555. Documentary evidence 8. Written statement 2. Then we have 2 physical evidence in the nature of spent cartridges. On behalf of the committee and on my own behalf, we would like to thank the media who have been our partners in this exercise. We are very grateful to you. Without you, this hearing wouldn't have reached the people out there. What is left for us to do is to go through the evidence received and write our report and recommendation to the Minister of Interior. We must say that we've enjoyed the company of the media. Those who are here, they know the relationship that we have established. And we know we can count on the media anytime. Carried out. We are grateful to you all, and very soon our report will be made public by the authority concerned.
Section of the public over claims it was set up to single out the media for blame in the disturbances. But the chair, Justice Kumsin, said the members will be open-minded in its report and recommendations to the Interior Minister.
We, as a committee, we are a fact-finding committee. And we've not come out to say that anyone's evidence is stupid or is irrelevant. No, so whoever would describe a piece of evidence as stupid or irrelevant, it is the person's own opinion.
It's in relation to what Erastus gives to the committee.
Erastus gives evidence, a lot of evidence, video, and apart from that, I think he appeared before us, testified, yes, oral testimony. And I don't think none of his evidence looks stupid.
As a follow-up to what he's saying, it looks like the testimony and the invitation of the appearance of media people has subjected them to public ridicule. How does the committee see this? Because initially that was the popular opinion, that the attack was coming all from
you see, the fact is that we are a fact-finding committee, and we do not just accept things. This is what I have for you, and we have to, you know, inquire where we don't understand certain issues. And you see, one thing I have observed is that the media, the Ghanaian media, when people question some of your acts, it does not mean they want to embarrass you or ridicule you. No. If Kweku comes, he testifies, he's asked questions. If a media man comes, he testifies. He should be subjected to some form of questioning. That doesn't mean that you are being ridiculed. So whoever thinks that the committee tried to ridicule any media personality, I will assure them we
Generally,
had...
how do you rate the cooperation level of people?
You can judge for yourself the relationship between the committee and the media who came. Tell me.
We are looking at the cooperation of those who came to appear before the committee.
Witnesses.
None of the witnesses. You see, standing here, clearly when a witness is testifying and you see that he's not being frank, I will not say honest because I don't want to refer to anybody as being dishonest. You see, when the person is not being frank with the truth, we cannot say it in public that this man is being untruthful. We will ask one or two few questions to determine the veracity of your statement. But I believe every witness who came to us now was truthful. It is only when we sit down to examine and make our findings that we can determine this person was not telling the truth, that person was being economical with the truth.
Now you have finished with your work. What's your expectation as a committee in terms of acceptance and implementation of your recommendations?
As I stated earlier on, our duty is to find the facts, make recommendations. After our recommendations, what else? I continue with my life as usual. I have no personal expectation. I have come to do my work. Once it is done and I submit my report, I'm done.
Would you have any advice for the youth in particular who are mostly involved in rioting or demonstrations?
You see, as I said in the Tree version, what the youth need is patience. You see, some will say that we want justice. Justice rushed. You understand? It's not the best. It doesn't result well. But although justice delayed, it is said is justice denied. But sometimes it is good you go through the processes. You understand? You go through the processes so that at the end everybody will be satisfied. But if you rush through justice, from some of the videos, some people were demanding justice within 1 week. You think, assuming it is a murder case, tell me, can a murder case be resolved within 1 week? Even the trial itself. You understand? So that's why I'm appealing to the youth. They should, most of the times, exercise restraint so as to get the justice that they require. But if you decide to rush things through and you take the law into your own hands, at the end, you don't achieve anything.
We can go live to Kumasi, where my colleague Ohime Nteria joins us with more, but also private legal practitioner Bobby Banson will also be joining this conversation. Let me start with you, Ohime Nteria. Ohime, I need you to tell me about day 12 of the committee sitting. Ohime, can you hear me? Tell me more about day 12 of the committee sitting.
Thank you, Aisha. In all, 22 witnesses appeared before the committee and testified, and out of the 22, 19 provided public testimony, whilst 3 witnesses gave testimonies to the committee because we are told this as a result of security reasons. It is not clear who the 3 who gave these in-camera testimonies to the committee are, but we're told that a resident of Ejura was first to testify in camera, and the committee was also expecting the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator to appear before the committee. So journalists suspect among the 3 people could be the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator who testified before the committee in camera, Aisha.
I've been speaking to the chairman of the committee on Erastus's testimony, especially. What did he say?
What the Erastus's testimony before the committee, don't forget his account of events in the Ejura has been brought under a litmus test. For instance, the chairman of Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee, Kennedy Ohine Japan, did accuse Erastus of giving what he described as a stupid and irrelevant account to the committee. But the chairman of the committee, Justice Kumsin, told me in the presence of other journalists that with what Erastus gave the committee, it cannot be described as stupid or irrelevant evidence. But he says Erastus's account and the evidence that he supplied the committee has become one of the key and basic things for the committee. For instance, Erastus supplied the committee with visuals. So after his account and the visuals that he provided the committee has used those visuals to the extent that when one of the witnesses, Abi Wakas, appeared before the committee and told the committee just Friday that after burying the late Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka Mechu, he left the cemetery to pray at the mosque and then went straight to the house to sleep until he woke up at about 4 p.m. But it was based on Erastus's visuals that the committee was able to make an informed decision that indeed the witness was not making frank testimony or not presenting frank testimonies before the committee. So the committee chairman said that no, as far as they are concerned, Erastus has not provided the committee as in quote, stupid and irrelevant testimony before the committee.
I may stay on there for me, Bobby Banson. I'm grateful that you're able to join us. He's a private legal practitioner. Let's start with your general impression of the work of the committee.
Your viewers and your listeners, thank you for having me. I think that from the beginning, the composition of the committee gave a lot of us some hope in terms of the quality of work that would be done. You would have a Court of Appeal judge, highly respected, and then somebody who is being touted as a security expert or international relations expert for that matter, and a fine lady who was also part of the committee, very experienced in her field of work. And as the committee began its work, some people were not happy with the line of questioning, but as they have come to say, they are supposed to probe. I do not think that the fact that they were asking questions in a particular manner suggests that they've already made up their mind. And so I still want to see the report, if indeed it will be made public, to be able to determine whether or not the work of the committee is fruitless or it has led to a resolution, or giving us the true facts of what happened. Because their terms of reference principally is to investigate and interrogate the circumstances leading to that unfortunate incident on that day. So far, it's been, from my position, I would say it's been fair. They exercised their rights to ask questions. They were not judges. I think that is where a lot of people got it wrong. They were not judges that were deciding which story is true against which story. They were playing the fact of investigators. And so they had the right to play the devil's advocate in the line of questioning that they asked. And so we would want to see the conclusion that they reached from their investigations or questioning. And because the committee's work was done in the full glare of the public, all of us would have an opportunity to judge whether or not their conclusion can be juxtaposed with the facts that we all saw or the evidence that they received.
Let's look at the criticism they got from the public. Did it play any role in this whole thing for you?
Well, for me, we have come to expect it. We as Ghanaians or discerning minds, we are entitled to our opinions on anything. So it will create bias, the kind of question. People were not particularly happy because they thought that Erasmus had received unfair questioning, which is a fair comment. I believe, like I said, it depends on how you appreciate the terms of reference of the committee. Well, to be frank, I thought maybe some of the questions could have been asked in a better form, but at the end of the day, they are there to probe. And so if you come and present that this is your evidence, their duty as a committee is just not to receive what you have brought to them. Their duty as a committee is to ask questions about what you have brought to them. And in asking questions, like lawyers say under cross-examination, it's a large. So you can start from any side, even to attack the credibility of the person who is presenting that evidence to you before you be able to get an opinion on it. And so the criticism that they have received from the public has come to be expected with any public inquiry in Ghana here. Even judges are criticized for rulings and questions they asked in court. And so this was nothing new for me. And I think that the committee members also may have handled it better in terms of how they handled the reaction. Some of the criticism were quite harsh, but I don't remember hearing them publicly react to any of them. They just continued with their work, and like they say, we will wait for the reports that they provide the minister.
Council, what are your expectations? What exactly do you want to see in this report as we anticipate in earnest for it to be presented to the Interior Minister?
I think that the terms of reference was clear. Tell Ghanaians why those unfortunate incidents happened, particularly what resulted in the death of the two persons who were shot and those who were injured during the demonstration. Tell Ghanaians whether or not the police or the military had the right to fire the shot that they did, whether they could have done it better. Recommend how these things could be avoided in the future. And so that is what I expect to be contained in the report. I think that they would dwell more, or what I'll be expecting more would be whether they would actually conclude that some people may have been negligent in their statutory obligations, whether the person who ordered the military and the policemen to go there could have exercised that discretion in a better way, whether the person who led the military and police contingent on the ground could have exercised the discretion in a better way not to order them to shoot. We saw people who were literally aiming at protesters. What are the punishments, or who are those people who sent them there? Those are the kind of things that I would be expecting in the report, not only for my sake, but for the sake of the family members of those that were, the lives that were lost and those that were injured, to bring some closure to this. And if any recommendation would be made for compensation to the families or the persons who have been injured, and then we will see all of that in the report. So I'm looking forward to a very thorough report, devoid of any emotions or political biases. So because this is something that we will all expect, that will be a blueprint for things that would happen in the future.
There are those who felt that the committee went ultra vires of its terms of references, especially when it brought in the family of Kaka. Did you feel same?
I didn't know whether psychologically the family was ready to speak to the public so soon after experiencing such painful loss of their dear one. The committee's reference per se, I don't recall that it's got to do with investigating the death of Kaka, because that is a criminal matter that would not be part of their, the terms of reference. That was under investigations. But because Kaka's death is inextricably linked to the events of that day, I didn't find it surprising that they opted to invite members of his family to come and speak to what they know about the events leading to the demonstration on that day, because you cannot speak about the demonstration without speaking about the root cause. And if the root cause is the unfortunate demise or murder of Kaka, then it is not surprising. I don't know whether it is right or wrong. I don't think I'm in the position to say, but I would say that I wasn't surprised they elected to invite members of the family of the late Kaka. Bear in mind that they do not have cohesive power as a committee, and so if the family members opted not to have come forward to speak, they could not have forced them to. But they also exercised their right to come forward to speak, and I think that it will make their report richer for the sake of all of us.
I'm extremely grateful for your time. Bobby Bansing is a lawyer and he's been helping us understand the legal parameters which the committee has been working. My colleague Oheming Teria is still on with me. Oheming, what are we likely to see in the report that will be submitted to the Interior Minister? Did the chairman give you a hint?
The chairman did say that very soon the Interior Minister will receive the report from the committee, but he wouldn't give timelines. But I have been, nosing around, trying to get an idea of what this report may contain as they prepare to lay bare the committee's report before the Interior Minister. The committee is likely to recommend some sort of financial compensation for the family because the death of the two people and then injury to the 6 others, I'm told, probably came from state actors. So it's likely that the committee will recommend some form of compensation for the family, and also made recommendations as far as how to handle matters of this nature in the near future, taking into consideration the political atmosphere in Ejura, for instance. The issue of establishment of military detachment is likely to make its way into the committee's recommendation in order to curb such occurrences in the near future. So this will come up, it's likely to come up in the committee's report, though the committee members wouldn't want to give a hint of what could be in the report that they will submit to the Interior Minister. But listening to the comments from the committee members and listening through the presentations and testimonies delivered by all the witnesses, the 22 witnesses who appear before the committee, as a journalist and from the background that I'm coming from, it won't be far-fetched for me. That is how I see it, exactly, that the committee will make some recommendations to government to make financial compensation to the families affected, and also recommend as to how the military and the police team will act in manners of this nature, and also, call for the establishment of military base in Ejura, for instance, Aisha.
Oheming Teria has been on this beat for us. Congratulations, Oheming, for a good job done.